Going on, Jab Jab Nation? Listen, listen up. Oh my God, I'm actually running late in publishing this video. I didn't go to bed until like 2 a.m. last night. I watched the post press conference after the fight, and then of course I went down the rabbit hole. Some of you boxing fans could relate to this, may relate to this. We start watching all the YouTube videos and going down the rabbit hole, watching all the behind the scenes content on social media and on YouTube, and that's what I did. So I didn't go to bed until 2 o'clock in the morning. So definitely catching up on some sleep, and it's been a long day, but I wanted to shoot this video because, oh my God, didn't we have an amazing full night of boxing last night? Do you agree? If you do, if you watched all the fights last night, let me know in the comment section. Hit a like, let me know what you thought about the full card, because what an amazing night of boxing it was. And I was just, I enjoyed it. I was entertained from the beginning, from the Crowley and Ramos fight. That was entertaining. It was crazy. I think I've seen Crowley fight once, and I was impressed. Like, he's just a come forward fighter, has a lot of some really solid skill set. He can box, can punch. The dude is a beast. He's an animal, man. And Ramos was game, right? I mean, he made it interesting. There were some really close rounds. And that was just a really highly competitive fight. And then I'm going down the list here, guys. Colbert and Jose Valenzuela. Chris Colbert and Jose Valenzuela. Another awesome fight. Colbert has some success, obviously having, Valenzuela having their early knockdown. Colbert coming out and making him very interesting, fighting back, using his boxing abilities to give Valenzuela some difficulties. But I still feel, and let me know in the comment section, he won the fight. And I thought he won it clearly. The knockdown, and then, he was landing the most effective punches. I felt like Colbert was just trying to survive, and he was just pot-shotting, and he was making it competitive. But I think Valenzuela, even in the late rounds, dominated the overall fight. And then he ended round 12 with, like, almost knocking out Colbert again. I don't know what the judges were watching. You heard the boos. You watched the fight. We watched the fight. And I was just like, there's just no way Colbert won the fight. And Venezuela was rightfully so very frustrated. And Colbert, I wish Colbert would have been at least man enough to be like, look, dude, yeah, I don't know what the judges were thinking, let's run it back. But he was just like, yo, you're a sore loser. I won it. I'm not going to run it back. I'm going to go back to 130. So he don't want Valenzuela. He don't want that rematch. He don't want that smoke for sure. So it was just really discouraging, and just very disappointing, because Valenzuela, these boxers work really, really hard. They train very hard for this one night to get this W. And, it was just unfortunate that Valenzuela worked so hard, like all boxers do, and did not get the victory as he should have. I don't see it. I don't see how Colbert won the fight. So anyways, that was a really competitive fight. And then, of course, Jesus Ramos and Joey Spencer. I've seen Joey Spencer fight before. Kid is strong. Like, he's a strong puncher, can definitely, knock you out, knockout power. But, Jesus Ramos was game. And I have never watched him fight before. But he's a big boy, tall, and he has some really, really good skills, some boxing ability there. And I felt like Joey wasn't himself. I've seen him fight again before, but I've seen him be a little bit more dominant. But he could not do that against Jesus Ramos. I think it was a very one-sided fight, and it was also another interesting fight. And it was really cool to see Jesus Ramos fight. So yeah, congratulations to all the fighters who won their fights. And also, let's talk about, ladies and gentlemen, because this is why you're here. So hopefully, if you stumbled upon this, I've been really just wanting to talk about this after I watched all the the post interviews and all the behind scene content, this is the video for me to share my thoughts. All right, here we go. Well, first off, like I predicted, if you guys watched the video, that I predicted that Benavidez would win by the 11th round. It would be an 11th round stoppage. And those who watched, I was like this close because I saw it, 10th round, like Plant was pretty much out. And then the 11th round, I'm like, forget about it. My prediction is going to be right down, right on. And he's going to get the victory on the 11th round. But he didn't. He fell short. And I'm going to get to that in a bit. But anyways, I talked about the 11th round and I was almost there. But he got the victory. I called it. The fight early on. And by the way, can we talk about like the entrance, David Benavidez, he kept it pretty subtle. And I was laughing when I saw the entrance music for Caleb using that little snippet of Slim Shady. I thought that was pretty clever. I thought that was funny. So yeah, shout out to Caleb Plant for doing that. I thought that was really, I started crapping up and he started looping it. And the crowd was just booing and I loved it. That was fun. So yeah, this fight was entertaining, y'all. Super, super entertaining. All right, so let's talk about the fight. All right, so the fight starts and I felt like the first, 2 to 3 rounds, Plant was winning. I felt like he was using his boxing abilities. And again, I called this. I said, hey, listen, in the beginning, Benavidez will lose some rounds. And Plant was just, and I think he was being cautious. I was surprised that Benavidez wasn't letting his hands go. He was stalking, he was staying in the pocket, kind of keeping Plant, at bay. I didn't think that was the type of fight that Benavidez should be doing. But I felt like it was all part of the strategy, and I think it all obviously worked to his advantage. But Plant was, obviously using his boxing abilities. He was landing the shots. He was winning the early rounds, and then, but I felt like it was close. I think there was a few judges and a few boxing analysts on Twitter that were giving the rounds to Caleb like a sweet 4-0, 5-0. I'm like, nah, I think Caleb. There were some couple fights. I think a couple rounds, third, fourth round, where I gave it to Benavidez. It could have gone either way, right? But I felt like it was still close. At the end, I had a 116, 112 Benavidez. So, I felt like it was, Caleb Plant was definitely winning the early rounds, but also Benavidez was winning a few. And then 6th, 7th round and beyond, Benavidez just turned up. Plain and simple. And one of the things that I started noticing that Benavidez was putting that pressure. He let that monster come out. And the thing about it was, again, he wasn't letting his hands go. Like, he was still kind of calm and poised throughout, even for the full 12 rounds. But the shots that he landed were monstrous. They did some damage. And the mistake that Caleb Plant made, and I think this was this was the X factor, was he was clutching. And this is whenever, when he was holding on to Benavidez. And I'm like, yo, so you could tell like maybe his endurance was fading. And, obviously we're watching the fight, but I think that even those punches that may not look effective in the early rounds, I think they were affecting his endurance. They were affecting him towards the end of the late rounds because he was holding on to Benavidez. And what I love about Benavidez is that he was a dog. Like the dog came out of him. He was, Plant was clutching on, and Benavidez, any opportunity, he would just boom, boom, boom. And he just took advantage of having Plant close, and he was able to just kind of push him off, and he was just using some pro-level moves and just bang him. And those shots, I think, were doing the damage. Like, Benavidez goes, okay, cool, you're not going to fight me, you're not going to come inside, but your strategy that Caleb of holding is going to be what I'm going to capitalize on. And that's exactly what Benavidez did. He capitalized on Plant's tactic of holding on, and that basically gave Benavidez all free range to just pound him and beat him down. And that's exactly what Benavidez did. So he was able to, basically push him off. I will say this, y'all. Benavidez could have knocked him out. Kenny Bayless, listen, I'm normally a big fan of the referee, but that ref, I don't know what he was paid by the Plant team. I don't know what, but Plant was doing a lot of dirty stuff too. He was going a lot. He was holding on, and he was not getting warnings, and it was just basically just tapping him and just that's it, move on. But yeah, Benavidez was called out on some stuff. But I was like, what's happening here? And there was a few times where just Bayless is like, let them fight. And I think after the 10th round, Plant was hurt. And I think even in the couple earlier rounds, I'm like, oh, he is hurt. This guy is ready to go down. But I think that Bayless, for whatever reason, gave him way too many breaks and really saved him. Because I think that if he would have let them fight, Benavidez would have finished him off. But he got super lucky. I don't think it was a smart thing because they went 12 rounds and Benavidez ended up beating up Plant pretty bad, as we saw him, and Benavidez was just, clean, at the end of the fight. So it goes to show that Plant really didn't, it might have seemed like he was winning and effective. He was getting the points, winning the early rounds, but when it comes to the effectiveness and the actual, impact of those punches, Benavidez all day dominated that. So, yeah, listen, I mean, I predicted it was going to be a late round stoppage. I felt like it could have gone there. I do believe that Bayless, if you ever watch this, what happened? What happened, my man? Because that refereeing was horrible. Not to mention the previous judging was horrible. Boxing, come on, man. Let's get it together, y'all. We're professionals here. Let's do the job, right? Benavidez wins. 12-round unanimous decision. It was really dope to see both of the fighters at the end give each other respect, squashing the beef. Benavidez Sr. also came out there and made the announcement. I thought that was all class. And one of the things I love about Benavidez, and this is, again, he's always been class. And here's the thing about Benavidez that I always appreciated and admired about him. Watching him in all the interviews, Charlo talks his trash and calls people out, yet he doesn't fight. Andrade, all these fighters, right? Calling out Canelo, waiting for that payday. And Benavidez, throughout his whole journey, especially the past, 2 years, he's been saying, look, I'm going to fight. Yes, we all want that big, opportunity with Canelo, but I'm not going to talk about Canelo. I'm not worried about Canelo. I have to do my job. He's like, do my best, forget about the rest. Let me do what I got to do. And then ultimately, eventually, I'll get to that place where people are going to demand the Canelo fight. He never chased Canelo, never talked trash about him. As a matter of fact, on the contrary, respected Canelo and said, he's doing his thing. I got my, my path. And eventually I'll get there to fight him. Whereas all the other fighters were just, calling him out, and he's scared, he's ducking, and he's this. And when people even were asking Benitez whether or not he was ducking, Benitez was just like, no, Canelo has his own path. He's going to choose who he wants to choose. He's not ducking. He obviously has an objective to get to 175, and he was going for the his path was very, very clear. That's why I respect Canelo. Canelo basically tells you exactly where he's going to go. I'm going to go here. Then I'm going to go after Bivol, and then I'll go here, and we'll see what happens, right? And Benavidez kind of operates from that same place where he's just going to, do his thing. And even he kept the class at the end when he's like, what's going on? I mean, I was like, well, maybe he's going to call out Canelo and be, let's go be aggressive with it. But he wasn't. He was like, look, the people will call this fight out, and it's up to Canelo whether or not he wants to take me on. But yes, I do believe, and Benavidez said that I should have that opportunity. And after watching this fight with Plant, I believe that Benavidez absolutely 1,000% deserves the fight with Canelo Alvarez. 1,000%. I think that a fight with Canelo Alvarez is a lot more attractive. It's a lot more lucrative. And I think it'll do really, really well in pay-per-view, views, and just all in all, it would just, again, the most attractive fight for Canelo Alvarez. I don't see Bivol being an attractive fight. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments section if you want to see Bivol and Canelo too. I just don't think that fight was interesting. I didn't even think the first fight was interesting at all. I think Bivol is a fantastic fighter. Obviously, he manhandled Canelo. He's got it. He's got his ticket, but he's one of those fighters, Bivol, in that he doesn't have that pizzazz. You know, kind of like Andre Ward. Like whether or not you love him or hate him, yes, Andre Ward was amazing, fantastic fighter, undefeated. But it was just they just lacked that pizzazz, and it was, you know, Ward because of his fighting style. A lot of people really, I never was a Ward fan just because of his fighting style. I just didn't like the way he rode, the way yeah, and he was active, and I just again, I've never been a Ward fan. Respect, right, but never been a fan of his boxing style or what he did as a boxer. Same thing with Bivol. Bivol is he's a champion, super talented. I would say definitely the best at 175, but he lacks that pizzazz, that superstardom to really, you know, make him stand out as a big pay-per-view buy, right, or an attraction. So yeah, I think that, you know, I think it's going to come down to Canelo um, fighting Ryder. I believe that he'll beat Ryder at Mexico, and then the fight after that would be 168 Benavidez. All day, it has to happen. So Canelo, if you see this fight, if you see this video, we got to make this fight happen, because I think Canelo and Benavidez would be super attractive from all levels, from financial, you know, from a business time, you know, side, but also from a boxing fan perspective. That's a lot more attractive than Bivol. I think with Bivol is just, I think we'll see a little bit of the same. I think it's out of Canelo's weight range. I think Canelo dominates at 168. And there's a lot of competitive fights, right? There's Benavidez, there's Charlo, there's Andrade if he goes there. And there's other, you know, there's a Morel, I believe. Another fight, you know, that could be interesting. So there's a lot of competitive fights in 168 that I feel like he can really, you know, continue challenging himself, because I know Canelo's all about the challenge and building his legacy, but continue wiping out that category before he decides to go to 175. And I think Bivol and Better Beef, I think that's going to be a matchup that's going to happen, and I think that should happen. You know, that should happen. Canelo should move down and just focus on at 160, 168 and get that Benavidez fight. So, yeah, I think that's it, guys. Let me know down below. I just wanted to kind of come here and just wrap, you know, a little bit about my post thoughts on the Benavidez Plant. You know, what's next for Plant? I think Plant, it has, you know, he's fought two elite, you know, boxers, fighters, champions, you know, and I think that he could also be competitive and, you know, fight Charlo. And I think that we'll see him fight, you know, Morel and some of the other fighters, Andrade. I mean, there's a lot of great competitive fights out there. So I do feel like this is not the end for Plant. I think there's an opportunity for him to become a champion again. And of course, you know, he fought his heart out, man. Shout out to Caleb Plant for like just being a warrior. I mean, the man took a beating and he was like, look, let's continue. And even his trainer was like, we can call it here. But he wanted to fight, continue fighting. So he definitely has a lot of heart. Super talented fighter as well, boxer. But when it comes to, you know, there's levels. When it comes to that level, that next level of championship, I think that if he had a little bit more punching power, and he was, I think, smarter in the late rounds and maybe worked his stamina a little bit better, I think he could be even more of a competitor. But I think when it comes to that pressure style, I think he just gets winded at the end, and he just doesn't quite know how to maintain himself to win the late rounds. And we've seen it with Canelo, and now we're seeing it with Benavidez. But I think we'll see him come back for sure. And I would like to see him because, again, I like playing. His personality is definitely either you love him or hate him. But, you know, he doesn't have that personality that people will like. He's not like the likable dude. But I think he postures like that. But he's obviously, seems like he's a family man. He loves his family, and he's a good dude all around. So, yeah, great fight. Congratulations to David Benavidez. I was trying to get him on to interview him, but I know this is a brand new YouTube channel. I only have 1 subscriber. So again, if you want to help a brother out, man, just subscribe, por favor, please. I just want to continue just pumping out the content and just press record and just share what I have to share. And if you watch this video and stay to the end, I appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about just the overall, undercard. Let me know what were some of your favorite fights. Let me know about the David Benavidez, Caleb Plant fight. Let me know your thoughts. And where do you see Benavidez go next? And where do you see Plant go next? So comment down below. Thanks again for just watching this video on Jab Jab Talk, where we like to jab about talking. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Let me do this again. No editing. Where we jab about boxing. Let's get it right, Ozil. See, I'm still trying to work myself up, or maybe it's a lack of sleep from last night. Anyways, neither here or there. Thanks again for watching. We have a big boxing fight in April. I'm looking forward to doing my thoughts and doing a review on that as well. And then if there's any other fights coming up, let me know in the comment section as well. All right, guys. Thanks again. Hope you enjoy the fight. I'll see you soon. Peace.